Hello, Angela. How are you doing? Let's go and take a look and see where we're at. All right, I ended up being far behind with my process. I'm well aware that my file is very bland and I have to design it. That's okay, I get it. So far, I've been the ideation of problem, target audience, personas, competitor. More design away, having a hard time coming up with a name. Excuse me for my app. If anyone has any suggestions, please feel free to let me know. Keep thinking and sleep on the name. You'll get it. It'll come to you, I promise. um, Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right to the presentation. Okay, so here we have patient portal. I guess that's a kind of a placeholder name, right? And I think that's a really super generic name for an app because on most sites, if you go to your portal within any, you know, with mine, when I go to my patient portal for either my insurance company or for my individual portal for my medical records, they're all called patient portals. So that could be a confusing name. So I'm not sure if that's just a placeholder, but I'm sure you'll come up with a name. Just sleep on it. Okay, so we go from the cover page, and of course, yes, this needs to be adorned and designed. Of course, we are graphic designers, right? So let's design this as such. And I know you said you're just falling a little bit behind, so I'm not too concerned about that at all. I'm sure you'll get to designing as you get more involved in ideation of problems. This is great. Good job here. I think you're a little long here. Character count's pretty long here. You might consider a two-column grid. Two text columns here, and establish a grid and hang on to that grid and use it in each page of your presentation. That's just basic graphic design, right? Ideation of problem, excellent. App solution, this is fantastic. So by page 3, the viewer already knows what the problem is and how your app is going to rectify the problem. Fantastic, great start. We go to the main features. Now, right here, this is where I'd really like to see some descriptions here. Instead of just this bullet, this ordered list here, I would just say, okay, so reminders, and then give a description of why reminders are a main feature and why it's important. So what are reminders? Why are they applicable? And why are they important to the app itself? Then you go to track and monitor health, describe what it is, how it relates to the patient, and why it's important in your app. Do the same thing for all of these. Okay, and then the same thing with target audience. Right now, target audience is really super underdeveloped. I don't understand what non-tech savvy patients means. So I would say that you would have to have since this is a mobile app. I would say that tech savvy patients is your target audience because non-tech savvy patients is. I mean, a lot of non-tech savvy patients won't even use an app. Okay, I think of my mom when I think of a non-tech savvy patient. I think of my mom who she doesn't want to. I mean, she's 80. Well, she would be 90 something years old, and she wasn't interested in using an app at all. Do you see what I'm saying? So, would it be wise to include her in the target audience? Do you understand what I'm saying? So in terms of defining the target audience, I think this should really be written out in paragraph format and really defining these target audience, okay? So not only defining the target audience, but also describing why that's your target audience. So why are we starting at 18? Obviously, because you need to be 18 to download an app, right? And why do we end at 75? Okay, why does it have to be patients with chronic or acute illnesses? Can it just be a patient that has just wants to check their basic medical records or test results or something? Do you see what I'm saying? Why does it have to be a chronic or acute illness? And then describe the tech savvy thing there. If we jump over to the example, which I'll show you the example, but remember the example, it's way up here. It's in week 1, project 1, user-centered design process begin, and it's right down here. Download that guy and keep it. It's a really, really good point of reference for getting your process books together. But what I want to draw your attention to is the target audience here, which is right here. Nope, we've got 3 really, really detailed paragraphs of the target audience. So you really want to detail that target audience. Then we get to personas and tasks. These are fantastic. I love the fact that you included the solution with the persona. I think it's fantastic that the persona the persona leads to the scenario, okay? So basically what you do is you use the target audience to establish your personas, right? The persona should be completely different demographics, all part of the main user group, the main target audience, right? But like you could have a married couple, you could have an older and a younger, and with kids, without kids, or a parent checking on their, things like that. You see what I'm saying? So The personas, you've established the personas. Now, I would include an image, okay, and make sure the image. So fibromyalgia. So Amy is a 23-year-old female, but really drill down in here. So what does she do? What's her professional life? What are her computer habits? And really establish a detailed persona so that you can establish a detailed scenario based on that persona. So we've got two personas. That's great. Now what you'll do is take this persona and you'll create a scenario on this. One thing I think that some students have done is they've created a scenario without the app, and then they've created the scenario with the app, showing how the scenario with the app is a superior solution to the scenario without the app. Okay, and again, you can see a lot of this in this presentation here. Okay, where are we? Okay, solution. So then you have Alan. Okay, so what we need to do is establish the scenario based on the persona, and then draw storyboards for the scenarios. Then we've got competitors. This is where I think you can really, this is underdeveloped, I think, because all you're doing is you're saying hello, book appointments, medical management, messages, doctors, unable to store, upload. So get into this in detail. Let me show you how this presentation did it here. This is really fantastic. This designer called it comparative analysis. And here they've got the competitor, the functionality and features, pros and cons, visual design, pros and cons, usability, pros and cons, and then a nice image of how the interface looks. And we've got 5 different comparative analyses here, so that's fantastic. So you definitely want to expand your competitor section of the actual page. Okay, so what don't we have? We don't have our wireframes and sketches of our wireframes. We need wireframes of all screens. We need storyboard of the scenario. And we need to photograph your paper prototypes. It's really, really important. If you want to see a really good presentation, Stevens is great, and also Ashley's is great too. Here's Ashley's, and this is Ashley Longacre, and you can see what she's done a really great job here. So you can use this again for to get some ideas for yours. And then Stephen Mays had a really good presentation too. His is up a little higher, and so you can please feel free to take a look at those and use those for your to establish your own presentation as well. Use those as inspiration. Okay, so where am I? Where did I go? Oh, here I am. Okay. All right, so those are my recommendations and comments. So if you have any questions at all moving forward, Angela, please feel free to let me know. And we got user testing this week though. So, and I do want to mention something about user testing. In your user testing, when you're using your paper prototypes, in the presentation here, this user testing selection just includes usability testing, a couple of paragraphs describing the test itself, and then the tasks that are asked of each of these user subjects, the test subjects, right? So basically what you would do is you would have your paper prototype. So you would show the home screen, and you would say, okay, show me how to log in. And they would press where they would log in on the paper prototype. Then you would take, if they get it right, you would change that screen with the login screen and tell them, okay, now how do you log in? Then they would say, okay, well, I would type my name and password with the keyboard, right? So if they get that right, then they would move on to the next screen, whatever the next task is. So we can see here, the tasks are log in, create a profile, change the theme, etc., etc. Now, this particular presentation is only showing the testing parameters written down, like this is kind of bullet format. What I would like to see you not only include this, but also show pictures of you giving the test, if not even a video. You can include a video in a PDF, I'm sorry, in a InDesign document, and then save that out as PDF. Just Google how to embed a video in a InDesign document. You'll see how it's really super easy to do. I think that would be fantastic. I'm really hoping some students will include videos of their user testing paper prototypes in their process book. I think that's what I'm shooting for. That's my goal. So hopefully we can get there. So anyways, yeah, that's where we're at. So again, I just can't reiterate the importance of using this as a basis for your inspiration and really get some good ideas exactly of how detailed this should really be. All right, great job. Any questions at all, please let me know. Thank you very much.